Hello, I'm excited about 2024 and I hope you are too. 2023, we had some highs and some lows, but we got through it, my friends. Anyway, on this episode, I'm going to talk to you about how to do a beginning of the year reset. We're going to go through all the different categories from reviewing your goals to looking at your finances to reviewing your health goals to using resources in order to have a better year, like all kinds of things. And so if you're ready, like really ready to do a full reset and make sure that you have the year that you deserve, then hang out with me for a few minutes as I give you some practical, actionable tips in order to help you reset and have an amazing year. And I always tell people too, like, there are only so many things that are in our control, but the things that are in our control, let's get them right. Let's do what we need to do in order to get where we need to be. So I'm just going to jump in here, my friends. Please have a seat, get your coffee, get your tea, get your water, get a notepad. As I talk about things, pause it, write down your answers, whatever you need to do in order to get inspired for 2024. And even if you are looking at this 3 months into 2024, it does not matter. You can do a reset at any point. I've talked about this before, like even with vision boards, you do not have to only do a vision board or just a reset period at the beginning of the year. You can do it whenever you feel like you need it. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to write or type all the things that you are able to accomplish in 2023. It might be a short list, it might be a long list, but just take a second and make sure that you include the small things too, because it's really important to remember the things that we got right, the things that we were excited about, the ability to take that trip, we got the job, we got the raise, we were able to stand up for ourselves. Like, it could be anything and everything, but I just want you to take a second and write down like what you're proud of. What was the most memorable things that happened in 2023? The second thing I want you to do is write down what could have been better. Did you meet like your financial goals? Did you drink enough water like you said you were going to do? Did you start working out but then stop working out? Did you start that business but weren't able to make as much money as you wanted to? Are you like in a job that you don't want to be in? It could be anything and everything. And like I said, it could be nothing, it could be one thing, it could be 20 things that you wish would have went better in 2023. But just take a second, write those things down, and then really ask yourself after you look at your list. Number one, when you look at the list of things that went well, are there things that you want to continue to work on or continue to do or enhance or make whatever goal it is bigger? Maybe you saved $1,000 and now you want to save $5,000 this year. Look at the list of things you weren't able to accomplish and think, do those things still make sense for you? Do you still, even though you didn't increase your water intake, do you still want to have the same goal as you did last year? Maybe your goal was too ambitious. Maybe you need to reevaluate the parameters around that goal. But just take a second. And yes, this is like the reflective period. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't have time for this, but you need to take the time. You need to really figure out why was last year good, bad, or indifferent, so then you can make sure that this year is even better. The next thing that I would love for you to do, if it makes sense for you, I've talked about this before, is create a vision board. I have interviews with several people talking about vision boards. I've showed you my vision board. I do a vision board in my journal. Some people do it on poster board. Some people do it digitally and like GoodNotes. I do like vision boards. It's not for everyone, but if you do like vision boards, when you think about what you want to accomplish in the next year, which is the next step, keep that vision board in mind so you can figure out what are the types of things that you could put on that vision board to help be a visual reminder for you throughout the year. And as I've mentioned in the past, the important thing about that is to make sure that the vision board really reflects you. So in 2022, I wanted to buy a house in DC, and I showed you guys how at the beginning of that year, I cut out a DC home. So it wasn't just like a random kind of like home in a magazine. I like printed out like a home from Zillow. I forgot where it was from of a house that I wanted in DC. One of my good friends, when she saw my vision board after I bought my house, she was like, whoa, that is crazy how similar it looks to the home that you purchased. So really, when you're cutting out photos or words or anything like that, try to make it as true to possible to the goal or the dream that you're trying to achieve this year. And you've probably heard, I think one of the folks I had on the podcast even mentioned doing a screenshot of your bank account, but then changing the numbers in Canva or whatever to increase the number. What do you want that number to look like at the beginning or at the end of the year? But the point is like having images and things on your board that are real life. So when you're looking at it, it really is a reflection of the things you want. So with that said, take a second and think about what are the things that you want to accomplish this year. Think about personal and professional goals that you want to accomplish and write down everything that you want and make it as realistic as possible, but also go crazy because you want to dream big. When it gets to like goal setting and actually figuring out how to achieve it, then you can really break it down and figure out like what's attainable and creating those milestones and a good plan. But right now, I just want you to just write down like what you want 2024 to look like. Do you want to start a business? Do you want to get a raise in your job? Do you want to be a better employee? Like maybe you started a new job as an accountant and you're okay and you're not great, but you want to be the best accountant you can be. Like that's fine. Maybe you already have a business, but you want to make more money. That could be something too. Personally, maybe you want to work out more because your back has been hurting. And so you want to figure out how you can improve your back pain. Or maybe you want to travel more and you want to figure out like how to carve out space in order to do that. I mean, I'm just throwing out some things here. It really could be related to anything. And so write down all the things that you want. After you've written those things down, at some point, start printing out some pictures, like I said, from the internet, from your photos album, from wherever. Cut those puppies out and paste them into your journal, paste them onto the poster board, or like I said, do them digitally. So it could be a reminder of what you want. So once you have that done, not for this video, I'll do another video about like goal setting or an article about goal setting because that's a whole other ball of wax. Like once you have like your plan for 2024. So I'm just going to continue with what you need to do in order to reset for 2024. And the next thing is to review your productivity system. And you're like, Nache, I don't have no system. You do have a system. I don't care if it's post-it notes, if it's a digital calendar, if it's keeping stuff in your head. Like you have a system of how you keep track and do all of the things. And so what I want you to do is write down what you think your system is and review it and determine if that system is serving you. Are you able to take action and do the things you need to do? Do you realize you need to do certain things? Are you meeting your deadlines? Do you know what your deadlines are? These are all different questions to ask when you're reviewing your system, because if you're not meeting your deadlines, if you're not achieving your goals, if you're missing stuff, if you feel like you're all over the place, then you probably need to do a reset of your system and figure out a system that works for you. And so just to give you an example, for my system, I do use a digital calendar on my phone. Everything that I do. If I'm doing it, it better be in that calendar or it doesn't exist. I mean, from going to a conference to going out with my friends a month from now. Everything goes on that calendar. I also use my calendar to remind me to do daily stuff. And I have an iPhone, so I'll normally say, "Hey Siri, remind me to pick up X, Y, and Z. Hey Siri, remind me to do this." My digital calendar is part of my system. I have widgets on my phone to help me track all the things on my different calendars, from my Apple Calendar to my Google Business Calendar, all feed into my Calendars app. And so that is a big part of my system. It works and I am going to keep it. Another part of my system is Notion for personal and business. In Notion, I'll include a link to how I use Notion, but you guys know personally, I use it as my second brain. I use it to track movies, books I've read, websites, you name it. For business stuff, I use it to determine what articles I want to write, what YouTube videos I want to write, what podcast episodes I need to record. It also lets me know if I've recorded it, edited, published it. So Notion is where I keep all of the things. I have widgets on my phone. Does it serve me 100%? That stays in. I also use an app called Any.do. And anytime I'm like, oh, I need toilet paper, oh, I need to get some dirt for my plants, oh, I need to get this, I just throw it onto my Any.do list. So if I'm at Walmart, Target, the nursery, the mall, wherever I'm at, I can pull up my Any.do list and it's right there. Someone might say, well, Nache, didn't you just say you use Notion? Doesn't Notion do lists and things like that? Yeah, it does. But know that just because something can do it, it might not be the best application to do it. Like maybe it just doesn't make sense for you. For me, I like how the Any.do app looks when it comes to just doing a generic plain list. It just works for me. I've been using it for a while. I know how the app looks. I love the font size on it. It just works for me. And so that to me in my system is a green light. It stays. One thing I tried to add to my system last year, but it didn't work, was a paper planner. I was like, oh, maybe I need to go back to using a paper planner because I don't use my bullet wide journal, but I used to use a bullet journal, but I didn't really like planning in the bullet journal. So now it's more of like a reflection journal. And so I was like, okay, since I'm using that as a reflection journal, do I need like a planner? Because I like pen to paper. Like before I put anything into Notion, into my calendar, I just like writing things down. That's just like how I plan stuff. I started using it for half the year last year, and then I just felt off. It just didn't work. It was an expensive planner. So I was like, I am not, and it was a great planner. There was a few things that I would tweak, but it just didn't work for me. And maybe if I customized my own planner, it would have worked better. But at this time, it just doesn't serve me to have a paper planner unless I customize it. So it's out. But what's in is I decided to bring back a wall calendar. I used to have a wall calendar years ago and I really liked it because I would sit on the floor. I would plan out 2 months in advance. It was so great. But that thing was so ugly. I forgot I got it from one of those office places and that thing was just ugly. It was just so ugly. That might sound shallow, but in order for me to use something, it's got to look good. It's got to look pretty. I need it to look pretty. And so I'm like, okay, I still need to plan out things pen to paper. And so I went on social media and I was just looking for all types of different wall calendars. And I saw somebody using a chalkboard calendar and I was like, this is what I need, because it kind of reminds me of journaling and bullet journaling, what I do when I do my spreads and all of that fun stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, these chalkboard calendars will be absolutely perfect. So I got one from Hobby Lobby and I also got some chalkboard markers. And on December, I think it was like 30th or whatever, I did the January calendar and I had so much fun planning it out. I'm like, this is a keeper. I can't wait to hang it on my wall. I absolutely love it. It is now going to be a part of my system. So much so that I ordered, they only had one calendar left at the Hobby Lobby. And there's five Hobby Lobbies in the DC area, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. I called all of them. Only one had one left. That's so crazy. Beginning of the year, right? And so I ended up having to order a second one online because I always want to be able to plan 2 months in advance. So that is now going to be a part of my system. So out with the paper planner, at least this year, in with the wall calendar for pen to paper ideation, planning before I do it digitally. Those are just a few things in my system, right? But those are like what I call the core things that help keep me organized and make sure that I'm doing what I'm doing and make sure that I'm staying on track. I have other things like, you guys know, I use Quicken, not necessarily part of my organization system, but it is part of my tracking system because I know how much money I spend to the penny every day, every month. Don't play with my money. Y'all know that. That's part of my system too. I just want you in this year, figure out what worked for you last year and what didn't work for you last year. And if nothing worked for you last year, then I encourage you to read a bunch of books, watch a bunch of videos, read some articles on different systems and see what resonates with you. Is it pen to paper? Is it a planner? Is it something digitally, like a digital calendar? Or maybe it's one of those GoodNotes calendars. I don't know because everyone is so different. So you really have to determine what really works for you. What are you going to use on a daily basis that you don't think is a chore? So next, we talked about money. And so part of your reset is money. You guys know how I feel about money. I think that in certain communities, it's very taboo to talk about money. And if you're a female, it's even more taboo. I feel like it's gotten better since when I was growing up, but we have to talk about it because if we don't talk about money, then we're not able to learn from others and actually build wealth. And do you want to build wealth? Yes, because remember what I've said before, money is not good or bad, it's the people who have it. And so you want to have it and be a good person and also not have to stress about your bills and also get what you want to get or be able to assist your family if that's what you want to do. Whatever you want to do with that money, I just want you to not have any worries when it comes to finances. I will link a finance article that I have below that I think would be really useful if you want like a step-by-step guide on how to audit your finances and all of that. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but what I will say is I want you to think about last year and where you were financially. Were you in a good place? Were you in a bad place? Are you making enough money? Were you able to save? Were you able to invest? If you weren't able to do some of those things, why weren't you able to do those things? If you're in a relationship, or let's say if you're married, do you know where your money is going? Do you have that conversation with your spouse? If you don't, it's time to do that. Do you track your money? Do you know where every penny is going? Because you should. And so I just want you to really think about your feelings when it comes to money. I want you to think about where you are, where you want to be, and what are some of the things that you need to do this year. Check out the article for a more detailed overview on how to do like a true audit and a reset. And I also provide some apps that you can use in order to easily track your money, all the things. I've got you, books you need to read, all of that. Not going to go into that here. The only other thing that I will say is review those recurring charges, my friends. Review, review, review. With all the subscriptions out here, you'd be surprised how you will forget that you're paying for something, or maybe you haven't forgot that you're paying for it, But when you really look at what you're paying for and how much you used it last year, you realize you shouldn't be paying for it. If you're paying for some entertainment app, but you watch it like once a month, pause that crap or just stop paying for it. And then when they get a whole bunch of good shows again, then pay for a month, binge watch all those shows, and then stop paying for it because it's a waste of money. I don't care if it's only $15, $20, it adds up and it's literally you're giving your money away. I don't care if it was $2 because that's your $2. And why give someone your money for free? That is insane, my friends. Insane. Also, go to annualcreditreport.com. It's totally free. It's, government websites. You could search this yourself in your state or whatever. They usually have it on their website saying this is where you go for your free credit report. But get your free credit report. It's just good to know. Even if you have A1 credit, just do a little double check. I check my credit every year. Every single year, my friends. So I suggest that you do that too as part of your audit. Next part of the reset is your health. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not about to go into all the things, but usually when it comes to health, it's how you're feeling mentally. Are you eating right? Are you sleeping okay? Are you drinking enough water? Are you exercising? Like all of those things. Think about next year and in all those different categories. Like, how are you doing health wise? Did you go to the doctor last year? If so, did you do what the doctor said that you should do? And if you didn't go to the doctor, why didn't you go for your annual checkup? If it's an insurance problem, should you apply for Medicaid? And so you could just do a general checkup if you can't afford like insurance right now, because I'm telling you, my friends, health is wealth. And if you wait to the last minute to try to find out if you're not feeling good, it could cost you and you might not be able to bounce back. You want to catch things as early as possible. Hopefully, it's nothing to catch. Hopefully, you go to the doctor every year and they say you're fine. So, I just want you to review last year and for this year. If you didn't go to the doctor, go to the doctor. And if you did, good on you. And also, what I do at the beginning of every year is I set up all my doctor's appointments in advance. So, right now, please pause this if you need to and set up your doctor's appointments. Family doctor, gynecologist, do you need to get a mammogram? Do you need to get a colonoscopy? I don't know, all the things. Did you need to go to the eye doctor? Do you need to go to the dentist? Everybody needs to go to the dentist. I go to the dentist every 6 months. I don't play around with that. Set up all of those appointments, okay? Because it's really, really important. So that's the first thing that I want you to do. And then the second thing I want you to do is just think about like when it comes to working out or eating or drinking water. Are you meeting your goals? Do you need to do better? How do you feel mentally? Are you okay? Do you need to see a therapist? Like, you ask yourself all of those questions. Definitely talk to a professional if you're dealing with any challenges with anything. But health is wealth, my friends. So just make sure that when you are doing your reset, that some of your goals are around health. Next thing that I need you to do for the 2024 reset is purge. Purge. Purge all the things that you do not need, my friends. Look around your apartment. Look around your house. Look around your room. Do you have clothes that you don't even wear anymore for whatever reason? Give them to Goodwill. Sell them online. If you've said you're going to sell them online and it's been like 5 years, you ain't going to sell it. Just give them puppies away. And if they are dirty and nasty and holy, just throw them away. Just let it go. Let it go. All right? When it comes to physical things, I want you guys to purge. And when it comes to people, I want you to purge. When you think about last year, were there people that just didn't serve you, that made you feel like crap, that used you for money or for whatever else, and that really shouldn't be in your life? Cut them, my friends. Cut them, okay? You only have one life to live. You will make new friends, and they're not your friends if they don't make you feel good. Cut them. And I don't care if it's family too, because sometimes family could be just as bad. And so if anybody is not making you feel good, cut them. Now, I will say there is a difference. If maybe it's someone, maybe you need like a good talking to, and there is someone telling you things you need to know, but you don't want to hear it. I'm not saying cut those people, because those people are trying to hold you accountable. I'm talking about the people that aren't serving you, that talk down to you, that don't make you feel good. Okay. Next, educate yourself, folks. Educate yourself. When it comes to knowledge, it is amazing how much free information there is out here right now. I need you to commit to reading, taking courses. And if you're like, Nache, I don't have time, there is always time. If you're in the car all the time, on the bus, on the train, there are a million audiobooks that you can listen to. A million audiobooks. And you don't even have to pay for it. You can just sign up. You can sign up, my friends, for a library card and get books for free. Not only audiobooks, you could get ebooks. Heck, you can actually go into the library and get a physical book if you want to. Please, my friends, take the time to educate yourself. And a lot of libraries are subscribed to things like LinkedIn Learning. The DC library has LinkedIn Learning. They've got Creative Bug. They've got like all kind of stuff that you can get for free. All you have to do is take the time to sign up for a library card. I'm just saying, please do that. And you guys know I pay for Skillshare. I love Skillshare. I have courses that I teach on Skillshare. I've got a course on Notion coming up on Skillshare. And so I believe also, if you have the financial means, that you should pay for educational resources that make sense for you. Now, if you go to nachesnow.com/Skillshare, you will get Skillshare 30 days for free. I'm just putting it out there. That's my affiliate link, and you get to watch my classes. And so, but seriously, folks, like, take the time to expand your knowledge. And it could be with finance, it could be with a craft you want to learn, it could be to learn more about your history, or just for fun. You can do fiction too, right? The point is, just continue to take courses and read and just learn, just expand your mind. And seriously, if you have not signed up for a library card, sign up for a library card, okay? It's like so much free stuff I swear people are leaving on the table. Like, okay, one more thing. If you have a credit card, you should find out if your credit card offers you free stuff. For example, I have a Chase credit card and I get DoorDash for free like every year, complimentary, right? And they be having coupons for stuff, and I make sure I go in every week and click their little discounts that I could get for various companies that maybe I frequent. So don't leave free stuff on the table. And when it comes to your education, don't slip on the library. Also, when it comes to expanding your mind, I mentioned that I do journal. So every day, at the end of the day, I write down what I did for the day. I do a fancy journal where I do a little hand lettering, a little stickers, a little washi tape. You don't have to do anything that fancy, but it is nice. It is nice to reflect on what you've done. It reminds you about things that you should be doing and maybe you aren't doing. It lets you know what's serving you and what's not serving you. And it's giving you that in the moment feedback. If you don't want to do pen to paper, if you have, for example, an iPhone, they have that new journal app that came out. You could put it in there. You could passcode protect it if you want to. And so that's just another thing that I recommend. Might not be for everyone, but I definitely think it's worth it. That's all I've got, people. I hope that you have found this to be useful, and that with this free set that you have an amazing 2024. Know that really, in order to get things done, You have to have the right frame of mind because it is all about mindset. There has to be some determination there. You have to really commit also to the things that you've said. And when you fall off, let's say, the wagon, and you, let's say you're going to walk 3 times a week, and then it's been 2 weeks and you haven't done anything, you don't just say, oh, it's too late, maybe next year. You just start again, right? That's it. You just get back on the wagon, okay? And so I really hope that you're able to make that mental shift and really accomplish everything that you have put on your list for 2024. If you have any questions about anything, I would love to answer them. So just put them down below. And Happy New Year to all. And let's do this. Take care. Bye.